The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
And we're back for one more show of the table topics.
That's it.
On the other side over there, I have Niagara. Yep. I have John.
Yep, that's right.
On this beautiful week of election. I don't call it the day of election. Or the day after day of election. I'm going to call it the week of election.
Week of election? Can we call it the week of terror?
A terror?
Yeah, the week of terror.
Nothing happened. I mean, we had a couple of flags burned last night, but nothing that we thought that was going to happen.
Well, people got stabbed in D.C. Is that bad? That people got stabbed?
I didn't saw that one.
Yeah, people got stabbed in D.C. last night. But
yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. I mean,
well,
you know.
But so, did you watch the results, or did you?
I watched it up until about 11:30. I wasn't really happy with some of the things that were put out there. Number one, the state of Virginia. The state of Virginia had the president at 54% and had Biden at 34%, and they had already said that that Vice President Biden had won the state of Virginia. I wish that they would have just basically waited until everything came in and do that before you do that. Same thing with the state of Rhode Island. State of Rhode Island had 54-34, and then all of a sudden it went to Vice President Biden's favor. But like I said, I wish they wouldn't just all of a sudden say this state goes to this. And you look at this, I think even right now, the state of Alaska, that is primarily Republican, they still haven't given the state of Alaska to the president. So I find that kind of amazing, you know. So, you know, when we talk about voter suppression can also be that in the polls right now, this person is down in the polls. And that leads some people to say, why should I even go vote? The other person's going to win. We never hear about that sort of voter suppression out there. I wonder why.
That's why we have the delegates. That's how we fund the president. It's by the delegates.
Well, the polls haven't been right, Carlos. They weren't right in 2016, and they are not right this time. So because it looks like the Republicans are going to still hold the Senate, and you know, they did gain. The Republicans gained some seats in the House. So it just shows you that that's not changed. I mean, we in this part of the country, you know, and I've probably said this, Satan himself could run as a Democrat and he would win any state office, whether it be senator, congressman, governor. That would be the case. We're just always, you know, Democrat. And I had read somebody online saying, why does anybody come to Master, Rhode Island? Well, why should they? A Republican's not going to come here. And the Democrats aren't going to waste their time because they know they got our votes wrapped up. You know, so until we kind of vote. Good.
No, I mean, I understand your point about the states already nominating or funding the winner without all the information in, and you know, and if we're going to follow that, the president did call himself a winner at 2:00 in the morning when he was like 23 delegates under Joe. But you know, so it's again.
Yeah, this is it goes both ways. I get it, but the thing is, Carlos,
it goes both ways.
Have we, besides Bush in 2000, we've never not known who won the presidency the next day. I can't remember a time
Mm-hmm.
other than that. And it was one state with Bush, that was the state of Florida, and it went to a high
Mm-hmm.
court. This is numbers of states. And I think we're gonna, with the premise out there is basically that, we have COVID. So all these mail-in ballots had to be sent in. If you can go to the grocery store, if you can go to the gas station, if you can go to Walmart, Target, the movie theater, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, there's no reason why we need to give people extra time to get ballots in. There's no reason.
Well,
Absolutely no
but
reason at all.
again, could be option. They probably don't have options,
What do you mean?
so they have to go to Walmart, And if I mean, whatever they're doing, it's not illegal. If it was illegal, they wouldn't be doing it.
It's
So
not that it's
that's
illegal.
something that we need to
It
think about.
it just makes it rife for fraud. Okay, that's all I'm saying. When you add extra time onto things,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. There is a thing. If, like I said, if you can go to all those different places, why can't you vote? Why can't you go vote? If you can go to all those different places and you've been doing it for the last 6 months, why can't you vote in person? And why do we need to give you and with that premise, why do we need to give you extra time to get the ballot in? You've had all this time if you've had the ballot.
So, and again, if you are a 30-year-old,
Yes.
I agreed with you. You have no excuse. If you're going to Dunkin' Donuts, you have no excuse not to walk into a voting place.
Yes.
I agreed with you 100%.
Yes.
But you have to think too that on those votes we have a lot of elderly people.
Okay.
That are actually not, and then we have people that are serving out of the country. We have people out of the country. So it's not just the people that can go to the Dunkin' Donuts. On that part, I totally agree with you. But on those numbers are a lot of elderly people that took the advantage. If else, they will not be voting.
Well, Carlos, that's what an absentee ballot is for. You request it from your state or from your board of elections, and they mail it out to you. The same thing with the military. That's how I voted when I was in the military. You request a ballot, they send it to you. But we can't be giving people a week later to get a ballot in. You need to get the ballot in by the end of the election.
Well,
are we going to start? What is this?
But we have a rule.
What?
John, we have a rule.
What's the rule?
I mean, the rule is the vote had to be stamped the day of the election. So if somebody's sending,
that's not true.
That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing is
that's not true. In the state of Pennsylvania, it's not when it's postmarked. So they can get that 3 days later, even if it's not postmarked. So if somebody went and mailed something today in the state of Pennsylvania, they could count that because they can count things up to 3 or 4 days later. It doesn't have to have a postmark. That's what went to the Supreme Court in the state of Pennsylvania. So when you do things like that, it makes people think. So listen, just
and
listen
what did the court decide? What did the court decide?
The court decided for the state of Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania said 4 days extra. The court sided with that. That's why there is an issue. So let me just put it this way. All right. So we find out Pennsylvania needs 10,000 votes. Okay. Look, I got my vote here. You call these people, send their votes in. It doesn't have to be postmarked the date of the election. That's what I mean. It opens stuff up for fraud. And people,
yes,
and
but
we can't
but again, a person only can vote once.
Well,
that's what they're counting on. That's what they're counting on.
Well, they're counting on that, Carlos. But I mean, come on. You don't think people do? We've had numerous cases in this country where they found ballots in creeks. We've seen politicians like in New Jersey that were filling out ballots for themselves in a city council race. It was like 400 or 500 ballots. But if you listen to the mainstream media, what you're going to hear is, oh, it's not widespread. 500 is a decent amount of votes.
But
we have to have
again, we cannot count, because of one bad, we cannot, take the others. It's everywhere. It's good things and bad things, and we have bad apples and everything. And every job you have a bad apple. I understand that, but it is a
what's that
flip. But is that enough to flip an election?
some of these elections were won last time with 40,000 votes. You know what I mean? That's not a
I
lot
don't
of votes.
believe that. I don't believe that 40,000 people gonna fake they or gonna vote twice. I mean, again, it's me. It's my belief. I don't believe that's going to happen. Maybe 10, 12. Yeah, I can see 10 bad people on the states that wants to screw things. I believe. But 40,000,
Carlos,
I don't believe that.
Carlos, listen to this. Lindsey Graham, who's a senator in the state of South Carolina, okay, he was given in contributions $100 million to run for states to run against Lindsey Graham. Who was giving him this money? $100 million. He was twice the number spent. Same thing with Biden. Trump. Biden was overfinanced. $300 million, I think, in the last couple of weeks. Who's funding these people? You don't think these people, when you have all this money, these people that are protesting across the country, you don't think some of them are getting paid? There are some people you see on these live streams, it's the same people all the time. People are working. They don't have time to just spend all day protesting. So there's money out there. When there's money, anything can happen.
Well, you and me, we know exactly how that works.
Yeah.
Bring it locally.
Yeah,
just bring it locally.
Exactly.
Just bring it locally. If you're only allowed to donate $1,000, but then you found that $10,000 came from the same family.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we found out after that's when we found out, and we think, that's why.
Yeah. Well,
that's why the money came.
So what I'm trying to get at is this is at a local level, it's this way. How do you think it is at the federal level where there's so much more money? You know, that's all. I mean,
I agreed with you. Yeah. And the perfect example we have question 1, and we had Mike Panaccio talking to us about.
Yeah, and I was good.
What exactly? And what was the interest to spend millions of dollars to put advertise for that to pass when that's going to hurt the voters?
Yeah. Well, but who's it going to help? It's going to help the dealerships.
The big dealers. Big dealers. That's why they had invested like $20 million for advertise. Yeah. Because they're the ones who are going to make money on it.
Exactly.
And by the way, the question didn't pass here. So so the question when the way that we want to was for people to have the right to still use the small mechanics shops to get the car checked.
Yeah, which is good.
The second question, perfect. The second question didn't pass too.
Yeah.
And the second question was, again, we didn't spend too much time on it because it was a confusing question too, because that is, if you candidate that you vote for loses, your vote automatically goes for the second person on the run.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes no sense, because makes sense if you're voting for a party. Yeah. But don't make sense if you're voting for a person, independent from the party. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that was killed, went nowhere, because guess what? On this election, I could be voting for this person from Republic, and I don't agree with the guy that my vote's going to fall under from the Democrat Party. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, so, that's why I didn't agree with it either. I didn't agree with it.
Yes, and I think was a big difference. It was a big margin in votes that didn't pass. So
I think they tried to use that, Carlos, too, with when Cesar was in, and we had all these different people that were running, and he won in the recall, and I think they tried to use that as saying, see, you know what I mean? If that wasn't the first choice with some people, he might have been voted out. And I'm like, I don't really think it's right to change something because of one thing that may happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I just didn't. So, and it sounds like most of the
let the people decide. The people vote them in. The people vote them out.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
You know,
Yep.
so I totally agreed with that.
Yeah. Yep.
So and we probably will come back again for the elections, but let's spend a couple of minutes. I want to talk to you. What's your opinion on the meeting that we attend for the conservation about the project on Alden Street? So I would like to get publicly, and on camera, your opinion about the meeting and about the what's going on there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was kind of a done deal already. It had been passed by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Um, like I said, it's done. It's done. My feeling was, and I've expressed this to you, was that you're sandwiched in between two elderly housing units. And if you're going to rent those out or even sell them, if there's no age requirement for to buy those, which there won't be, you're going to have different generations living near each other, which I think is definitely problematic. And I think one of the things we need to look at as a city is that when we approve these things, how is this going to affect us in years from now? So, example, the elderly people just don't like the noise that's going on. What are they going to do? They're going to call the police, or they're going to call a city department. And it's like they can't really do anything, but they have to address these things as they're going. So, like, why are we approving things that are going to be a problem down the road? And I think that's where we definitely fall short here in Fall River. Other places do not operate that same way, and I think especially the Zoning Board of Appeals, they have so much power, because you have to have a reason why you have to go outside of the zoning laws. And we, that board has so much power. And for us to kind of just be like, whatever, what I mean? That it's a lot of those things do go by that way. And I don't know if it's because they're afraid that the people going before them are going to sue them, or, sometimes they, who knows? It's probably already approved somewhere and they just approve it. Who knows? I don't know, but I don't think that we do ourselves any justice by this. And you know what? In 4 years, you could come back and I could come back and say, see, this is going to be a problem. What does that solve? It solves absolutely nothing. So why don't we just do this right the first time?
We have perfect example. They squeeze this huge project on Holland Avenue into wetlands.
Yeah.
Now the owners of the properties, they don't know what to do, because they have a huge issue on their properties. They bring into the city. They bring into the city council. City council sends to this department. From this department goes to the law department. From the law department goes to traffic department. From the traffic department goes to the sewer department. And this going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
This going on for 2 years. And the problem's not resolved because they cannot resolve it. Period. That was not supposed to be there. That was not supposed to be approved, and was approved. And I can even bring it local to you. Niagara neighborhood. Niagara has a project that's going on right now that's going to be a big issue for that neighborhood. It's the Stevens Street gas station there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. The neighbors came down with the problems in front of the board, explained to them that we have problems. I was there. I was explained to them that the city already spent millions of dollars enlarging the piping on Stevens Street, because people, when rain, people could not even drive on that street. They spent a large amount of money enlarging the pipes there. And my question was, is those pipes ready to receive a car wash place and plus a gas station draining on that location? And then we have the traffic problem that you're going to have two driveways coming out of this new location into the driveway that we already have a hard time getting into the bank. Okay, so right there you have a big traffic issue. Okay, and that's it. Everything passes. Everything passes. It's
Well,
no problem. We pull up the chamber with people complaining, and they don't care. They pass it.
yeah. The issue I kind of, it's a commercial area, so I get it. But there was an issue that it did come up that I think that the city could have acted in better faith, and that was that car wash. And I think they kind of changed the hours to like 5:30 to 10. Now we know that's going to be an issue. Like, people have the right to wash their car at 5:30 there. I mean,
Mhm.
that's not that, as you can see, that property's right upon those other properties. So, people car washing their car at 5:30 in the morning. That's going to create
Mhm.
issues and complaints. So yeah,
Mhm.
I just wish that we would do a better job with this. But I'm kind of I'm getting older and crankier, and I'm just kind of losing faith with you know I'm losing faith with some
Well,
of this. I really am. Um,
since we are touching on the city stuff, are you still involved on the tree committee?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just shutting this door because my dog's barking. Yes, I am. I am still involved with that, and things are trying to plug forward with that. But it's there's something there with there's always something to do or something to fight, and it gets old after a while. It really does. It gets old. You got volunteer groups that are still trying to do the right thing, and it's just an upward battle all the time to get things done.
So if
But
somebody has a tree, that wants to know if the tree's still alive or dead,
yeah.
um, that's the committee that they supposed to
Yeah,
approach.
well, they're supposed to, but the tree commission hasn't been active in about 2 or 3 years. And the reason that it hasn't been is that they haven't appointed members. And we're still waiting for the members to be appointed. So at this point, from what I've heard, no trees will be planted by the tree planting committee until we get that commission together. So we're just waiting upon the powers to be to get that commission up in order. I think what if there is an issue like you're talking about, they should probably send that in through the park board, and the park board will handle it for now.
Mhm.
But the park board wants the tree commission to deal with that, and like I said, it's just been dormant, and the reason it's been dormant is they haven't put any members in there. So
Mhm.
so
Do
we'll
we
see.
still have the tree farm?
The tree farm, yes, we have it, but it's kind of phasing out because that property there is going to be used, I think, for the overflow, the CSO thing there.
Yes.
That was never a permanent place for the tree farm. It was a temporary place. So they're going to take that back. I believe the city's still looking at places that they can put the tree farm with the committee. So yeah, that's still pending. Still pending. So
Well, I don't know where we went, but one of the locations that I talked to a few friends of mine that will be perfect for the tree plantation is on the battleship, on the left side, across from the battleship. The city owns some property there,
yeah,
and that what they used to put the salt and stuff from the winter.
yeah.
And that location would be perfect to do a natural tree farm there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm not sure if that, I know they have a location that some of the committee members have been to and they've kind of agreed on, but I'm not sure exactly where it is right now. But there is a group within the tree planting that are working on that. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, you know what I mean?
yeah, I hope they put a group together because it's important.
Yeah.
And the lady that really was like a queen
Yeah.
on that stuff is it's too bad because I think if she's still alive, I think people will not get away with not having that committee together.
Yeah, well, I mean, the committee's still together, but yes, I mean, she was retired. So basically, she was out there. You know what I mean? She was a nurse, and nurses are built a certain way that, you know what I mean, they're going to go in there and take over and get the job done. And that's how Mary Ann was. God bless her. So yeah, it's just going to be a matter of doing that. But I had conversations with her at the toward the end of her tenure with the tree planting. I mean, she was always on it, but she was kind of phasing out of the leadership role, and she was getting tired as well. She was getting tired, So yeah, I mean, I'm glad the committee's still together and they're still doing things, but it's it's an upward struggle no matter what you do, So
This and as this generation that has like eyes for the neighborhoods are getting old and kind of retiring and passing away, I don't see people replace them.
yeah.
And
No,
I don't know, could be me, but I
No,
think
no.
that's what it is.
No, you're right. And unfortunately, I think over the last several years, we've the neighborhood groups have kind of been kind of tossed aside, and I think that's a bad thing because there was a lot of good work that was done by.
Well, that I give guilties to the mayor's office, because if you the mayor and you don't look at the neighborhood groups as a good partnership
Yeah.
with your office,
Yep.
then they all gonna die.
Yeah.
They're all gonna die, and we've seen this.
Yeah.
We have a couple minutes left. I want to bring it back again, just to have your prediction for this election that is gonna be done, I hope, in a couple of days.
Yeah. Who do I think is going to win?
Your prediction.
My prediction? I have no idea.
Yes.
I really have no idea. I can't really say either way. I really don't know because it kind of just turned totally different when we have these ballots, like in the state of Georgia. There were some ballots that were in an area and they had a pipe burst and the place got flooded. And then we're hearing that there are ballots different places. So I really don't know because, if they are counting other ballots, you don't know who they're for. You know what I mean? Chances are they're probably for Biden. You know what I mean? If they were mail-in, but who knows? Who knows? Who do you predict, Carlos? Yeah. I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Well, I probably going to predict Biden because the way I'm seeing now, whoever went in person definitely went to vote, and that's why Trump got all those votes was in voting, in person voting. Now that we are dealing just with mail voting and absentee voting, I believe they have the tendency to come Democrat. So, but whoever wins this, going to win this by 2 delegates.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very close. Going to be a very close call.
And I think that's going to be something that's going to have to. And I did hear some of that just recently, that when you have such a tight race, you have half the country that didn't vote for whichever president. And I think, there can be things said about both sides. And the same thing with Biden. Biden has to kind of come back and say, you know what I mean, if this is the case, because he recently called people chumps that he didn't think were going to vote for him. So, you know what I mean, and dummies and stuff. So you can't do that. So if
and again, it's in both sides. It's definitely in both sides, because I have to tell you, if Trump had handled this, at least try to tell people to be careful with this.
With what?
With this virus, the economy. I think he will win, even if the economy is bad. That's how he run all this time, because of economy. But I think what really killed him was the way he handled the coronavirus.
What I don't know what more. We don't have enough time, but I don't know what more he could have done. That's just my opinion. What more could he have done? That's for
just saying, be careful with the coronavirus so you don't get the coronavirus. Not, if you get it, you'll be fine. You'll be like me. So, hey, but we have 30 minutes on the clock.
Yep.
Thank you, John. And I see you next week. And let's see if we have a president next week.
All right. God willing. Have a good one.